Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. Today we're looking at something that absolutely caught my eye, mostly because of just how much time it promises to save us in our daily SQL workflows. We are officially moving from repetition to pure automation by unpacking SQL stored procedures. Let's get into it. So, let's start with a feeling I'm sure we all know a little too well. Are you just completely, totally tired of typing the exact same SQL query over and over again? You know the drill. You log in, you need a specific set of records, and you find yourself typing out the exact same select statements, the exact same joins, the exact same where clauses. It's frustrating, right? It's tedious. And frankly, all that manual, repetitive coding, it basically just rolls out the red carpet for typos and errors. Honestly, you shouldn't be copy-pasting code fragments from some random notepad file on your desktop every single morning. Okay, let's dive into this because the ultimate solution to that repetitive headache is a stored procedure. By definition, a stored procedure is simply prepared SQL code that you can easily create, save, and reuse again and again. So instead of rewriting a massive, complex query every single time your boss asks for a report, you just write it once, you save it right there inside the database itself, and you simply call it whenever you need it. It is a real game changer. Now, if you have any background in general programming, our source material grounds this perfectly with a super simple analogy. It's like a function. Just like you'd write a function in, say, Python or JavaScript to encapsulate a block of logic so you don't have it to repeat it, you write a stored procedure in SQL. You build the logic once, and then you just trigger it. It keeps your entire database operation clean, organized, and honestly, incredibly fast to execute. All right, Section 1, Creating and Executing Procedures. Let's actually slow down for just a second here to really look at the baseline syntax.
It turns out creating a procedure is actually incredibly straightforward. Let's imagine we're working inside a database called OmitDB, and we have a basic table called employee. First step, you just use the create procedure command, followed by whatever name you want to give it. Let's call it all_records. Right below that, you type the exact SQL command you normally use. In this case, select star from employee. You finish that off, execute that creation script, and bam, it gets saved directly to your database. Then, whenever you want to run that saved code, you just use the exec command.
So once your procedure is saved as all_records, this tiny execute all_records command is literally all you need. You don't need to type select star from employee ever again. You just type execute followed by the procedure name and boom, all your records instantly populate. I mean, think about how much time this saves when instead of a simple select, your query is like 50 lines of complex joins. Moving on to Section 2, adding a single parameter. Because getting all records is pretty static, right? What happens when we want dynamic filters? Now, what's really interesting about this slide is if we look at this mock employee table, we have employees like Will and Tom, and they both live in a city called ABC. In the real world, you don't always want every single record, right? You usually want records based on a specific condition, like grabbing only the employees from city ABC. But we definitely don't want to hard-code ABC into our procedure, because tomorrow we might need city XYZ. We need a way to pass that city name in dynamically. And here is exactly how we do it. Instead of a basic query with no parameters, we just add a where clause. But rather than hard-coding ABC, we use a parameter, @city, and we define its data type, like varchar 20. Think of learning parameters not as having to write a massive block of entirely new code, but just adding small Lego pieces to your basic query. You declare that @city variable at the very top of your procedure, and then snap it right into your where clause. So let's say we saved that new dynamic version as a procedure called all_records_2. To run it, you use your xec command, the procedure name, and then you just pass in your specific parameter, like this, @city equals ABC. The procedure runs, takes ABC, drops it straight into that saved where clause, and seamlessly fetches only the employees located in that specific city. It is brilliantly efficient, don't you think? All right, Section 3, using multiple parameters. This is where we really scale things up and gain ultimate control. Suppose fetching by city just isn't narrow enough. What if we want to select employees from a specific city and with a specific name? Well, we simply add another variable. Alongside our @city parameter, which is a varchar 20, we add @emp_name with a data type of varchar 255. You literally just separate your parameters with a comma when you create the procedure. It's that easy. And this brilliantly illustrates how we apply it. We just expand our where clause, where city equals at city, and emp_name equals at emp name. We're using the AND operator to connect our two variables, forcing the database to only return records that perfectly match both dynamic inputs we give it. To run our brand new multi-parameter code, we use exec all_records3, pass at city equals ABC, add a comma, and pass at mpname equals Tom. And with that one single line of code, you instantly fetch the highly specific record for Tom in city ABC. No matter how complicated the logic is behind the scenes, even if it's an absolute beast of a query, triggering it is always this simple, this clean, and this fast. So, I want you to look at your own daily workflows right now. Think about those long, complicated queries you are copying and pasting every single day. Which repetitive query will you turn into a stored procedure today? Seriously, take that code, wrap it in a create procedure statement, add a couple of dynamic parameters, and give yourself back hours of your week. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer. Now get out there and automate your SQL.